Doing a water fast is a profound tool to reset your metabolism, balance your hormones, burn fat in your body, and restore your health through the process of autophagy. But there's only one problem. The problem is that most of you are not doing the fast correctly, and therefore you are not getting these amazing results. And in fact, many of you, when you go to fast, what happens is that you don't feel well, you fatigue out, and because of the frustration of not getting the results and also feeling terrible while you're fasting, you're not doing it at all. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the biggest mistakes that people make when doing a fast and how you can avoid these mistakes and also get amazing results like you've never gotten before. So stick around to the end, but before we do, I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and it's a pleasure being in this video with you. If you like this type of information, I actually have a health community called Health Club, and I routinely walk you all through how to do a 3-day water fast, a 4-day water fast, and so much more. So if you want to actually go and have access to those videos right now, step by step, from the prep to the fast itself to breaking the fast, go ahead and click on the link in the description below and join my community where you'll have access to all of these videos. And actually, it's totally free. So I'll see you in the community on the other side. So let's go ahead and dive into this topic. And we're going to start with how you prepare your body for this fast. And one of the big mistakes that happens with so many of you is that when you go and fast, you're having all of these nasty symptoms. You're fatiguing out, you're getting dizziness, you're getting headaches, and so much more. And one of the reasons that this is happening is because of the diet that you're following prior to doing the fast, okay? Let me give you an example. The average American consumes over 25 pounds of sugar a year and 300 grams of carbohydrates per day. Now, how do you think your blood sugar is going to respond when you're consuming a diet like that and then you go into a fast? Well, what will happen is you're not going to feel so good, because what goes up must come down. So therefore, if your blood sugar is really high and then you go into this fast, it's going to crash. And that crash is going to give you the headaches, the fatigue, the irritability, and the frustration. You're going to want to quit your fast. So here's what you would do instead. In the days leading up to the fast, there's a few changes you would make. You would start following a low-carb diet, going to about 100 grams of carbohydrates or less, 50 grams of carbohydrates or less, very keto-like. The other thing that you would start doing is you would go sugar-free, okay? This is going to be very helpful. So therefore, your blood sugar is going to start to stabilize in the days leading up to the fast. In order to actually help prime your body a little bit further is make sure that you start intermittent fasting. So let's say that you're just eating 3 meals a day, the average American diet, which is horrible. You can start going sugar-free, low carb, and then intermittent fasting. And you're going to really start prepping your blood sugar to be able to tolerate that drop off when you start fasting. And when you do the fast at this point, it's going to be very easy for you. Now, the other thing that I would do here, as far as diet is concerned, is I would up my protein intake, okay? Because this way, not only will it help you stabilize your blood sugar, but that way when you go into your fast, you're going to not be starving yourself of protein, okay? And so up your protein intake a few days leading up to the fast. Now, here's another big issue, and this is when you are fasting, you are not getting enough electrolytes. What are the symptoms of not having enough electrolytes? Well, you're going to get a lot of dizziness typically, and you'll also typically get a headache. I know that early on when I would fast and I wouldn't get enough electrolytes, I would get a migraine headache. And it was just because, when I first started fasting 10, 15 years ago, there's some of these facts that I just didn't know about it. I just knew that fasting was beneficial, but I really didn't know how to perform a fast correctly. And I also didn't even understand why I was getting these headaches. And so what happens is when your insulin drops, okay, because we talked about your blood sugar is going to go down, your insulin also is going to drop. And when this happens, what's going to occur in your body physiologically is your body is going to actually start flushing out sodium, potassium, and magnesium, basically these key electrolytes. So in the days leading up to the fast, you want to start upping your electrolytes, and you also during the fast itself want to consume a lot of electrolytes as well. This is going to help keep your energy up, keep you free of headaches, keep you from getting the muscle twitching. And I will say too that when you are fasting, this is another big mistake to watch out for. It is very easy because you're not eating to also not consume enough water. So make sure that you're consuming plenty of water and you're also adding electrolytes into your water. Well, how could you add electrolytes? Well, simply you could use an electrolyte formula. You could put some Himalayan salt into the water that you're drinking every day. And you can just simply make sure that you are pushing the water with the electrolytes from morning to night. One of the things I typically do is I make sure I just carry a big old container of water with me all day. So that way I know I'm sipping on it, because I fall into that same trap. You're not eating, you're not drinking, and then you become dehydrated. And when you are fasting, if you become dehydrated, look out, because you are not going to feel well. That's going to be just giant fatigue and headache central, and probably actually mess with your sleep quite a bit. Now, another thing that I want you to do in the prep for the fast itself, and this is going to be one of the things that most people will make a mistake with, is cut out caffeine. We have become so caffeine addicted in modern society. Everything has caffeine in it. A lot of people are drinking a coffee or two a day, and then on top of that, an energy drink or some sort of pre-workout. Like, caffeine has become a massive, massive issue in modern society, because you're likely not getting enough sleep. Your nutrition probably isn't optimized, and then because you're fatigued and not feeling well, you're pushing your body with caffeine, and that's not good. And then if you are pushing your body with a lot of caffeine and then you go into a fast, you're probably going to have a massive headache. You're going to find that your brain is totally checked out. And so what we want to do is break that caffeine addiction prior to the fast, okay? And while you're fasting, if you had a little bit of green tea, a little bit of black coffee, it's not the end of the world. However, we really want to start tapering down that caffeine addiction prior to going to the fast, because it's a huge mistake that many people make. They crash hard on a fast, doing a water fast. And when I'm talking about fasting here, it's really any type of fast, whether it's a 24-hour fast, whether it's a 48-hour fast, a 3-day fast, 4-day, 7-day, whatever it is. These same rules apply. These same mistakes are going to really mess you up. So therefore, make sure that you're making these changes. Now, another big fasting mistake that I see all the time is overexerting yourself while you are fasting. During a fast, especially a multiple day fast, like a 3-day water fast, you do not want to be doing heavy workouts that are going to push you to your limits. You don't want to try to power through when you don't feel well, okay? It's going to be a time that your body is healing, and you should focus on healing. Stretching, light yoga, walks, meditation, doing all the things to help your body heal is critical here. And it's a huge mistake to go and push yourself. I see some people, it's like, well, I'm doing a 2-day or 3-day fast and I'm going to push myself with a couple mile run every day. Craziness. Don't do that. Allow your body to heal. This is supposed to be a healing journey. Allow for it and do things that nourish your body during this time. And of course, yeah, stretching and yoga and stuff like that. That is more of a healing type of movement. Going for a walk in nature, healing movement, but still very beneficial to do. So typically when I'm fasting, I'm doing a lot of walking and a lot of stretching. Now, if all those mistakes weren't bad enough, there's another big one that many of you make. And this one is major, and this has to do with refeeding, meaning that after you're done fasting, what you eat after your fast. Now, it becomes less important with smaller fasts and more important with bigger fasts. So if you're doing a 16 and 8 intermittent fasting, or you're doing 24-hour fasting, not as important. But when you start getting up into the 48-hour, 3-day, 4-day, and beyond, it becomes very important, because what happens is during this time, your digestion basically shuts down and your gut is going through this healing process. Your microbiome is being completely reset, which is fantastic and incredibly important for your immune system health. Not only are you going to boost your immune system, but also if you're dealing with like an autoimmune crisis of any sort, this is very healing for you. Now, when you go to break your fast, it should be done gently. It should be done with good healthy food. I like to have typically like steamed vegetables, good healthy lean proteins, good healthy fats like avocado, sprinkle in some olive oil, those types of things. We want to make sure that we're refeeding slowly. Okay, we want to make sure that we're refeeding with healthy food. It's very easy to have this idea that we need to go crush a loaf of bread or a pizza. It's very terrible for you at this time. So we want to make sure that we're eating healthy food, good food. We also want to eat slowly to allow for our digestion to fire back up. And then it's important that we eat enough, okay? Sometimes and this is referring to another big fasting mistake, we get into this idea of like, well, if I fasted, then I'm just going to kind of keep this little fast thing going. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to turn your fast into a starvation method. When you go through that fast, you then want to feed your body very well, at least for a day or two, and then get back into fasting. But we have to show our body that we're not starving. We have to show our body that food is plentiful, and that we're going to put you through a healing fasting process, and then we're also going to take you and feed you properly and put you back through that fasting process. And that is where you'll get the most beneficial. We have to do the feast-famine cycle, and when we do that feast-famine cycle well, our body gets the most healing benefit. So these are the big mistakes that many of you make while fasting. Start making these changes, and I promise not only will your fasts become so much more beneficial, but you'll feel so much better when you're fasting. And then going into a fast won't be this giant concern of yours. It won't be this huge task that you have to accomplish. It'll be like, okay, very easy. I'll go into a fast. I'll get these benefits. It's easy for me to fast. I have no reason to not fast, and start sprinkling in a 3-day fast once a month, or a 2-day fast once every other week, or a 24-hour fast every single week, or doing 16 and 8 intermittent fasting daily, okay? So make sure that we're fasting appropriately, making sure that we're utilizing the feast-famine cycle, feeding our body appropriately when necessary, and then fasting appropriately. This is how you get the best results. And if you want to learn more on this topic and even follow through day by day on how you go through a 3-day water fast, remember, Health Club, the link to it is in the description below. Join me there. And all those videos are live and ready for you to watch right now. I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski, and if you enjoyed this video, watch this one next.